Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Yeah. Jesus.
Martial art chat.
My man B-Hop, he got dropped out the ring last night. I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Rhonda. Let's hit me up.
See you were filming this. You got a face for radio.
That's got a face for radio.
That's nice.
Martial arts chat.
Martial arts chat.
Hello, my name's Chris Allen, and this is Martial Arts Chat Podcast.
Martial Arts
Today,
Chat.
I'm being joined by TJ Tombstone Jones. He's giving up an afternoon this Sunday for a half hour or so here to have a chat with us.
Chat.
So, TJ, really appreciate you coming on. How you doing, my man?
Hey, I'm real good. I appreciate you having me today.
Yeah, so obviously the last couple of weeks must have been very crazy for yourself. You know, all of a sudden your name's in the lights. Everyone's seeing exactly what you're doing. You know, like, oh, who's this TJ Tombstone guy? And he's fighting Jack Swagger, man. How was that feeling? You know, you're seeing your name on the TV, on all podcasts, internet. How's it been?
Oh man, you know, it's just part of the process. You know, I knew it was going to get kind of crazy that first day when we did the first press conference. That you know, all of a sudden I was getting tagged and you know, people were sending me friend requests from all over the world, and I kind of figured something like that was going to happen. But you know, I'm just really happy to be able to talk to everybody that wants to reach out to me and give me their time. So I feel like I want to give them my time back for sure.
No, I'll tell you what, we really appreciate it, like, and I say no disrespect to yourself, like, you've definitely got some serious bravery going on. Like, not many people with, say, not as much experience as yourself would quite happily walk into the main event as well, let's just make a point of as well, of a Bellator with with a champ, with a title fight on and everything like that. So for you, making that walk down that ramp, you know, what was going through your head when you walked down that ramp and all the smoke was out? Must have been crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, I always tell people once my music hits, it's time to dance. You know, everything else goes out of the window, and you know, it's just time to fight. And it doesn't matter if there's 50 people. It doesn't matter if there's 10,000 people. You're gonna get punched in the face. The other guy's gonna try to choke you out. So you know, everything kind of goes away. You know, yeah, of course, I want a good reaction from the fans, and you know, that's really important. I wish the fight would have gone a little bit longer, but you know, I think I showed enough to maybe get another shot, and we'll see what the future holds for me.
No, I'll be very surprised if they don't give you at least another shot in Bellator, one more. You know, you got to think the amount of viewers that yourself brought in over some of the bigger names there. Like, you've got to admit, like, how have you reacted to, like, after your fight's been? You know, you're thinking, yeah, fine, I didn't win this fight, but my God, I feel like I did win this fight with all the support I'm getting. How was that feeling?
Oh man, it's a blessing. You know, you got to take the good with the bad in everything you do. And you know, the bad is obviously I didn't get the win, but the good is, you know, I've got such a positive reaction to the fans, and you know, I just got a reaction to the fans. Not everything has been positive. Some of it have been negative, but you know, I respect everyone's opinion, and everyone's opinion has value. So whether you like me or you hate me, that's okay. But at least you're talking about me. So.
I'm seeing your name everywhere at the moment, to be honest, TJ.
Yeah, you know, I'm kind of a ham, so I've been looking too, and Google, and I typed in my name the other day, and it was crazy. I was like, wow. So yeah, I've kind of noticed it too.
Are you walking down the street now, and people are starting to stop you to take pictures and things like that?
Yeah, I was at the gas station the other day, and a guy randomly walked up to me, and he asked for my autograph and my picture from in my hometown. And then at Walmart, I've had 5 or 6 people come up to me and congratulate me on the fight, and I've signed a few autographs, and yeah, it's kind of neat.
No, I bet you must feel like a celebrity walking around now. You're thinking, like, oh, I've only had one like a major fight on this major organisation, and they're already treating me like a celebrity. Yeah.
Well, I will tell you, my wife doesn't let my head get too big. I try, but she keeps my head normal size. So she's like, you're not famous inside these walls, so you need to stop. and believe me, I'm not saying famous like I think I'm famous, you know, no, but I like to have a good laugh with it, and I tell her every now and then, you can't treat famous people like that, and she, you know, she lets me know that you aren't nothing.
So when you I can see her is that her in the background, or is that the kids back there?
Yeah, no, those kids in the background. My wife is enjoying her Sunday. Usually I kind of take over because she's a stay-at-home mom, and she's got the craziness during the week. So on Sunday she gets to rest a little bit.
Yeah, I know they say she's probably got the harder job, even if you are training and getting beaten up all the time.
Yeah. No, I tell this to everybody, if you think being a stay-at-home mom's easy, try doing it with 2 or 3 kids every single day of the week. It's not. She's stressed, man. It gets kind of crazy at times, but that's where you come in as the husband and or boyfriend or whatever you are, and you give them a break for sure. That's very important to do.
No, definitely. You can see, like, you got your hands full. Like, how many children you got? Was it 6 children you have?
Yeah, I got 4 kids that are mine. Then I have 2 stepsons. But it's like I said before, I'm not a big fan of the term stepsons. They've been my buddies since they were 1.5 years old. I love them like they were my own. They're just as equal to my kids in every way. So, I tell people 6 kids, but in reality, I have 4 that are mine and then 2 stepsons.
And it really goes with your personality, and that's definitely the way you display yourself, in the media and everything as well. You can tell you're a normal guy, you're a family man, you're still a Monday to Friday guy as well, aren't you?
Yeah. The job didn't go away. I mean, people might know my name now, but my bosses at work just know me as the dude who runs the saw. So if I'm not there, they still give me a hard time about it. So.
What's everyone's at your work's reaction now? Have you been back to work since the fight?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was back at work that Tuesday, and it's been positive. A lot of people, supervisors and whatnot, said, "Hey man, we saw you fight. We saw you on the TV." That's been pretty cool. But when it's happening at 5 a.m, I don't have as cheerful as a reaction as I do like right now. So I was like, it's cool that you seen me, but it's too early. Talk to me about it in a couple hours.
Yeah, man, you live a hectic life. Like, give people like your daily routine, because you did explain like you literally go to work, you train, etc. So give people exactly like what you do day to day.
Oh yeah, for sure. When I was training for the Jake Hager fight, I'd get up. I usually get up about 4:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm at work every single day. The training starts at 5:45. I get off work every day about 2 or 2:30, and then I go home and figure out what the wife has planned for us. We're either running errands or paying bills or doing whatever we got to do, and then I kind of have it worked out with my wife. Once the kids are in bed, that's when I get to go and train, and that's just because if I leave every day at 5 o'clock and leave her for the dinner and everything after being with the kids all day, that's just not fair to do. So gotta take some of the stress off her as well, and then once the kids are in bed, I go to the gym and train until about 10:30, sometimes 11 o'clock, depending. And then sometimes even after that, I'll go for a run and then do it all over again. Get 5-6 hours of sleep and then get up and do it again. So.
Fair play to you, TJ. Definitely. Like, I can see you're doing this, and you've always got your constant eye over your shoulder as well, making sure the kids are good.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know what my daughter's playing dress up right now, and I don't know what the other 2 are doing. Every once in a while, they try to get little peeks in to see what's going on, which is okay. But then one was trying to poke me in the face earlier, so I got to make sure they're not trying to do that.
Yeah, man, kids will be kids, man. Pride and joys, as they say.
Oh, for sure.
So, I'll tell you what, going back to your career, like, if people don't quite know yet exactly, your fighting career, tell us where it all began. Like, what actually made you get into combat sports initially? Like, thought, you go on your job and thought, do you know what, I'm going to try sports. Was there a boxing career beforehand?
I did a little boxing when I was a kid, but the thing is I got into a lot of fights in school, and I was actually arrested for it twice. For just getting into fights, and I got expelled from school twice, my sophomore, my junior year, and it was just always for fighting. Like, I never had a big problem with anything else. I never got into drinking a lot, or my friends are smoking doobies, so I'm gonna go do it with them. I never did any of that. I was just never into that. But when it came to throwing my fist with somebody who may have been running their mouth, I was kind of in that mindset. You throw first and then you talk later, and that just started getting me in trouble, especially when I was 16, 17, 18. Then I started getting handcuffs put on me, so I was like, something's got to change. And then I called my dad when I graduated high school, and I told him, I said, I just watched this fight, and it was Phil Baroni and Dave Manet, and it just showed the pureness of the sport. It showed the absolute best and the absolute worst. Dave Manet got utterly destroyed, and Phil Baroni was on top of the world. And I had watched UFC before, but I was completely captivated by that fight, and I knew at that point in time that I wanted to do something that involved combat sports. And I don't know what triggered me. I don't even really follow those 2 fighters. Tank Abbott's my favorite fighter. So, but exactly. It was that fight that just completely blew my mind. And I called my dad and told him, hey, I want to do this. And then next thing you know, I was in Missouri training, and that was in 2008. And here we are 11 years later.
Yeah, because I saw you never know how accurate some of the stats some of these independent sites put up, but did you only have one amateur fight and then no, so that was incorrect information I've read there. Completely.
Yeah, I have about 26 fights, and I was 9-1 in amateur MMA, and I'd actually won a couple belts. And if you YouTube TJ Tombstone Jones, there's some of my fights on there, and I don't know why they never got documented, but like I said, 2008 it was kind of different. As far as like what was put down on the computer and this and that, and some of it was non-sanctioned. I never knew that. I just knew that I would call the promoter, they would give me an opponent, and I would fight. And then I've always had a problem with my motivation too. So like I would fight these fights, and then I'd get really heavy and fat, and then I'd lose the weight again and fight these fights, and so it it just became kind of a thing. But yeah, I've fought a lot more times than some of these sites have said I have.
Yeah, I can, because I really appreciate you filling that information in, because obviously people need to know that sort of thing. They need to know you did have some sort of record before this. You're not exactly brand new to the sport, is sort of the impression was given by a lot of the media sites. But you definitely show. So as I said, we'd like to see you fight a bit longer so we can see exactly what you're doing. Show a bit more what you can do, because I'm sure you can do a lot more.
Yeah, and if I tell you, I had to have a long discussion with my wife to be able to have. I'm looking at her right now.
Yeah.
No, I had to have a long discussion with my wife. We had to sit down and talk for about an hour and a half, and there was a lot of concerns on her part and a lot on my part, and we didn't know if we wanted to go this direction again. But I have such a love for combat sports in general, and she understands that, and she really. When she's going out of her way to let me continue this dream, and I can't rave enough about her. If it wasn't for her, this opportunity would have never happened. If it wasn't for her being able to watch the kids extra, watch my kids, and go out of her way for her own, they're her stepkids. So I wouldn't get to do this. So all my thanks go out to her.
No, man, that's obviously really nice to hear. A man is only as good as his woman, as they say.
Yeah, man, for sure.
So when you were actually at Bellator, how was it like? I know I'd be quite starstruck by walking around, and I saw you had a few selfies with a few fighters. How was that, meeting a few people you probably watched for a while?
Oh man, yeah, it was so cool. One of my favorite fighters is Pat Curran. First fighter I saw was Pat Curran, and I was sitting there with my manager, and I told him, I was like, oh my God, dude, that's Pat Curran. He just walked in. So I had to really kind of calm myself down and not be such a fanboy and realize that everyone was there to do a job. But I tell you, man, they made it easier. I can't say this enough about the fighters that were there. There was only one fighter that I kind of didn't vibe with that great. And other than that, man, MVP to Douglas Lima to Pat Curran to AJ McKee, they're just the nicest guys. Big John, Chael Sonnen, they just went out of their way. They gave me advice. They spoke to me like they're here and I'm here and I know that. Yeah. But I mean, we were equal, man, and that's how they made me feel the whole time. So it was definitely a really cool experience.
Yeah, I bet. And you can pick up a few tips if you can while you're there. It's always helpful. Someone from the pros. Sure. No, 100%. And excuse me. What was it? What did you feel like? You were fighting on a night where there's, someone won, like there was history made. The second ever champ. Crowned. You had Michael Venom Page's first KO. So that's going to be a card that's going to be watched quite a lot. So I think you'll be seeing the name a lot more. So what I was going to say to you is, so with Jack Swagger, did you know much about him before you were going to take him on? Did you know much what he was going to do? Did you think he was going to do what he did?
Yeah, I figured, I didn't know who he was, actually. No, I had to YouTube him. I used to watch wrestling religiously when I was younger, but I stopped in like 2002, 2003. So when my manager called me and gave me the opportunity, I did not know who he was, but I YouTubed him and looked him up, and then but I was more interested in his NCAA stuff, so I see that he had, matches against like Cain Velasquez and stuff, and I was like, okay, so this dude's for real. And unfortunately, I kind of going. I didn't really think of it at the time, but kind of going back, my whole camp was really based around me losing the weight to fight. Because when I got the call, I was like 329 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I really focused on losing the weight. So a lot of like the wrestling that I wanted to do and a lot of the striking techniques I wanted to work, I kind of set that aside. I did do it, don't get me wrong, but I kind of set that aside a lot to focus more time. Okay, I need to be on the treadmill now, sweating and losing weight, and I need to be really focused on my diet. And then when you're starving yourself and you got all these kids and stuff, there were times where unfortunately there would be like, okay, I need to go to the gym. However, I can just sit here and be hungry, and I'll do that. And there's once or twice that I probably should have been at the gym, and I wasn't at the gym because the food intake just wasn't there. But when you're a professional, there are sacrifices you have to make, and so yeah, it was definitely rough. But
yeah, but it sounds like your daily routine. The only time you have to yourself really is when you're sleeping. So this is the biggest issue I think for you. So how did you actually get the call up for Bellator, if you mind me asking? How did it come around?
I don't know. My manager knows some people that are in Bellator. He had one of his fighters who actually fought the main event.
Yeah.
Shane Graham, I think his name is, and I can't remember his name, but he fought a kid from England. He's kind of like the next Conor McGregor. He's very flamboyant, talks a lot and stuff, and so. I got a phone call. I was in a meeting, and my manager was just blowing up my phone. And he's like, "You got to fight," and it's in Bellator. And when Bellator calls, you have to answer the phone. The opportunities don't come often.
Exactly.
So, So you'd have to talk to him about that. I don't exactly know how it happened. I just know it happened.
And I'm sure you didn't hesitate. No, took that one.
No.
Literally, didn't even think about it.
Well, here's the thing. I had promised my wife I wasn't going to fight no more. So I didn't hesitate, no. But I knew that it was going to be kind of a thing, to make this fight happen. But
that's fair enough.
Fortunately we got there.
No, that's good. I'm really glad you did, and I'm glad the world got to see you come down. You give it your best. I'm sure, as I said, it wasn't you could do better. As you said, you went straight for the takedown, and I was thinking, I didn't want to see this all straight away.
Yeah.
All good. Sorry, man. Sorry, I just thought you were checking out to make sure. I thought the kids were up to something.
Yeah. They're being called. The wife had to come back in.
No, sorry, man.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
They're all good. I've lost where I was now. Sorry about that. So, what was your biggest inspiration then going into this sport? Who was your biggest inspiration?
Oh man, the cliche answer would definitely be my dad. He was behind me 100%. He went out his way and bought me thousands of dollars worth of equipment so I could get this started. And unfortunately, at 18 years old, you just think you know everything. And I really messed up some big opportunities I had when I was younger. But if I was looking at it from a fighter standpoint, I'd probably say Tank Abbott, and he's been my favorite fighter since I was a kid. And just because, it never mattered about the win and it never mattered about the loss. He simply went in there and he fought, and he fought with such compassion and heart, and it did, and he was always such a joy for me to watch because, I'm big into striking, I'm big into brawls, and when I was a kid, I kept getting in trouble for fighting, and Tank would tell stories about how he'd get arrested for fighting, and it was like, okay, he's bettered himself and he's on this platform now, so I think I can probably do the same thing.
And I know I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, but is this something now you want to do full time? Take the MMA?
Yeah. I don't know if full time's the right answer, but it's something I want to continue doing.
Okay.
Like I said, not to keep beating the whole I'm a dad thing down everyone's throat, but when you're a father full time before anything. So if I have an opportunity, but it's one of my kids' birthdays, and my wife doesn't agree, and there's a lot of stuff that I have to go through before I can be like, yeah, I'll take a fight, because if it was up to me, I would fight anyone, anytime anyone offered me a fight. I love to fight, but
responsibilities.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, you sound like you do. As I said, you look like you do a good job. You're very alert. You're always on the ball. You know what's going on around you.
She's staring at me right now, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm not saying nothing wrong.
I just want to say to everyone listening to the podcast, because obviously you can't see this, I am actually watching TJ on video at the moment. If you're thinking, what's he talking about, so you can see him. It's just with the audio. But no, TJ, question I like to ask everyone, quite a cliche question, everyone gets asked it. Tombstone, where'd it come from? Where'd the nickname come from?
The movie Tombstone. I I was actually almost called TJ Bucket Jones. And the promoter that I first fought for was like, you need to have a nickname. And I was like, I don't want a nickname. He's like, no, you have to have a nickname. And I was like, well, I'm not going to get one. And he's like, okay, you're going to be announced as TJ Bucket. And I was like, what? Like, I don't want to be TJ Bucket. So me and my dad are big John Wayne fans, and we were trying to kind of think of like what can we name off of John Wayne, like TJ the Duke or something like that. Nothing really sat, and then we started watching the movie Tombstone. It was just on TV, and it was almost a magical moment. I was like Tombstone Jones at the same time my dad said it, and yeah, I've been Tombstone ever since.
Quality. I love it, man. I love every fighter's different story about how they got their nickname, and obviously Tombstone's another one that you haven't really heard that much as well. It's not like a Pitbull or anything like that of the world. It's really unique, man. I thought Tombstone, I was thinking, was he a WWE fan and like The Undertaker or something like that?
Yeah, I've actually heard that a few times, yeah.
Yeah, but then I thought, actually, I think you're a fan of The Rock, aren't you? Listening to your banter at the weigh-ins and things like that.
Yeah, the It Doesn't Matter thing. Yeah, I was a Rock fan when I was a kid.
How did Jack take to that?
I don't. He didn't say nothing about it, but what is your name? My name is. It doesn't matter what your name is. I don't know if he picked that up or not, but I sure the heck try to play it out.
I love it. It's just my favourite thing is actually it's your profile picture on your Facebook. Actually, the picture of Jack walking away and you're just looking at him because I know what you've just said to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I didn't know if I was getting under his skin, but every time he would walk away or every time we would do a face off, he would have this look on his face like this guy is just getting on my last nerve. And then his wife kind of confirmed it to me. I went into the back and she was kind of yelling at me, and I was like, okay, I know this dude's mad now, because in my world, if your wife's mad, you're mad. So I kind of figured it's the same with him. He's definitely a family man, and so.
That's right. Was your wife not around at that time then when this was all going on?
No, man, she had to stay back. But I got to talk to her a whole bunch, and I did some FaceTime with her, and so.
Nice, man. You sound like myself. Yeah, you don't like being away from home, but obviously you want to follow your dream as well. Yeah, it's all good. It's nice. It's nice to be a family man. It just shows that fighters are normal people outside the cage. They're not. Yeah, fine.
Sure.
When they go in there, it's a different ball game. Different story. But outside the cage, everyone is the same.
Oh, for sure.
So for yourself then, what's your plan? Like, what's next for you? Like, if you don't have to confirm anything, but what would you like to happen now going forward till the end of the year?
Well, what I would like to do is I would like to box in July. There's a show about 50 miles from here, and nothing's confirmed. But I've been in talks with the promoter. I've been in talks with my manager, and I would like to take the time this summer and just really hone my skills, work on my wrestling. I've been in contact with the college wrestling coach here in town, and in the high school coach. Well, not really contact. I've just spoke to some people about it who said that they can get me in contact with them. I've spoke to other gyms about letting me come and just cross train with them. I don't really want to be subject to one gym, but I'd like just to get better. And I'm 29 years old, so I'm not saying my window's closing by any means, but I want to learn as much as I can, as quick as I can, and then I'm really hoping for maybe September or October get another MMA fight, whether that's in Bellator or a regional fight. I keep telling people, man, all you got to do is pick up the phone and call me, and we'll never say no to a fight as long as everything kind of aligns right for me.
Yeah, that's it. Make sure everything sets up for yourself before taking on a fight. You don't want to put yourself in a worry and having to think no one's looking after the kids or anything like that. You just need peace of mind, and then you don't have to worry about anything.
Right, for sure.
So what are you thinking? What are you going to focus on going forward? Have you got any certain part of your game you want to focus on, or any particular training you want to look at?
I was very, you can't take a lot from a fight that's less than 3 minutes, but if I was going to take a positive away from that fight, it was I got out of 2 or 3 different submissions before I fell into the arm triangle choke, and that was a crucial mistake I made on my part. I was on my knees trying to get up, and I was just too far back, and I just fell right into it. So I felt pretty happy where my submission defense was up until getting submitted. So I really just want to work on my wrestling in reverse, something Chuck Liddell made famous, keeping the fight standing at all costs and doing what I like to do in a fight, and that's stand and bang and work my striking. And if the fight goes to the ground, I want to know enough to be able to get up, to defend submissions, to work my way around bad situations on the ground. And I'm not looking to be a black belt by any means in any martial art, but I would like to know enough to be safe in those situations.
No, definitely. Like that's the thing. Like the fight could more than likely end up on the ground at times, especially in the later rounds. And it was just unfortunate it happened early on with Swagger. And I was just thinking, because I thought that's what he might do, to go straight forward into it. And you did said, as you said, did really, really well with your submission defense as well. Because against someone like him, he finished his first fight by submission. Is by the same submission.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been asked this a lot, and I'm sure everything's fine. But did you feel we held that submission for just a little bit too long?
I'm gonna tell you what I told someone else. I don't hold a grudge, but here's the thing. I do think that when the ref pulls you off and he says get off, and I tap out, you got to be professional, and you gotta let go of the submission. But he did do something for me, and that is I now get to have a vested interest in Jake's career. If I can get a couple wins together, and I can maybe get another Bellator win or a couple regional wins, because he held on to that submission, I feel that I have a right to call him back out. Had he just let go of that submission, I don't think I would be able to do that, because you lose in 3 minutes or 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes, whatever it was, then you got dominated, and you just have to accept that fact. However, there was more to it than just being dominated. He was mad, as he admitted, about some of the stuff that I said, some of the stuff that I did, and he wanted to pay me back a little bit for that. And so now let me get some wins going, and I will, I'll call him back out, and I'll push for that fight, and hopefully I can use some of this fans that I gained during this fight, and they can rally behind me, and we can make it happen, because I kind of have a bad taste in my mouth fight, and I'm going to keep that bad taste in my mouth. Every single fight I fight, I'm going to use that as all the motivation that I need. And the beautiful thing about it is I've got a beautiful wife, I've got beautiful kids, and they're such a motivation anyway. But when you put on a little bit of animosity on top of all that, man, it just makes you real hungry to get back in there and do good things.
No, and I think you're doing the right thing. Instead of just saying I want an instant rematch, go have a few warm-up fights, get a few more fights, as you said, do more training. And the guys you met at Bellator, so you said you met MVP Curran as well. Have you maybe had a few chats with them, maybe travelled to their gyms? I know it's hard for you because you've got a family, it's hard to just go away for a week. I appreciate that. But is that maybe something you'd look at doing?
Oh, I would always look into it, but that probably won't be able to happen. And just because one this summer is completely booked. We've kind of got it worked out to where things are going to be good. Now, however, if I can use this summer, I can get better, and I can get some wins and maybe get a bigger contract, and which would be ideal. Me and the wife did talk about me taking a little time off work, and then if my supervisors are watching, this isn't anything I haven't told you. So maybe taking a little bit of time off work and really focus on the next step of my MMA career, and then we'll talk about maybe going to a different gym and training with these guys. But as of right now, I'm pretty set in what I'm doing, and with the guys I have around me now, and I think we can do some pretty good things.
No, mate, that's brilliant. You're juggling all the different pins at the same time, all the family, all the training, all the working. So honestly, that's just, you must be your biggest inspiration. And for me, that's like a massive inspiration. It's incredible. You can do all that as well as train, as well as get into a Bellator cage on the main event. I really can't wait to see your next fight. And you're saying you hope people rally for you. Well, people already are rallying for you. Even after that fight, everyone knows who you are now. I'm talking to people who don't know much about MMA, and they said, "Oh, about that guy who fought the old wrestler in Bellator." So you'd be surprised. I'm calling you from the UK, and
right.
People over here know all about you, man. So it's really good. Really happy to really can't wait to see your next fight. So TJ, is there anything you want to say out, any shout outs, any sponsors, social networks, or any fighters you want to call out, anything like that at all? The floor is yours, man.
I'm not big into calling fans or fighters out, especially off a loss. I don't do that. But however, I was called out by J.W. Kaiser, and so if a promotion wants to set that up, I'm sure my manager wouldn't have a problem setting that up. I'd like to give a big shout out to my sponsors, Central Station Bar and Grill here in Dodge City, Kansas, The Kind Pen. We got Phillips Chiropractic and Physical Therapy, great place to get your chiropractic care done. And then Tropical Tandem Fitness is where I do all my fitness work. That's where I lost all the weight. They sponsor me, and they're such a great place, friendly people. And then, my guys, I actually manage about 3 or 4 fighters myself, a Tombstone Management Clique. I got Christian Sanchez, Cesar Bennett, Cesar Gutierrez, all great hungry fighters about to make debuts in on their pro life and career, and I'm just super pumped to be able to help them and have their back. And then just the fans. God, you guys have been so great to me, and I really appreciate it. And I hope that this isn't just a 15 minutes of fame thing. I hope that we can continue, onward with this, and get a couple wins, and then see where this can go.
I really don't think it's going to be a 10-minute thing at all. Do you mind me asking, how many interviews or something like this have you done since the fight? We're talking like 9 days ago. How many do you reckon you've done?
I think this is my 13th or 14th one.
That's crazy, isn't it? 14.
Yeah, I've posted like 6 or 7 on Facebook. The other few I can't find. I did an ESPN/St. Louis phone call the other day, and some of them are on my Twitter. I don't really know how to find some of them that I've done, but yeah. I've done a bunch. So
there you go. That just shows exactly straight away. People want to talk to you. We're in the UK. We want to talk. And any other countries got in touch with you?
No, I think you're the first one outside of the United States that's contacted me. So
don't worry. We'll get this shared around. We'll get many more hopefully calling you. Definitely want to get your name out there more, especially in Europe. As I said, I spoke to a lot of people. They know who you are.
That's awesome.
MMA is not quite as big in the UK as the US, but it is the fastest growing sport over here. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, so right.
It'd be great to see you fight in England. Bellator in the UK or one of our organisations here.
For sure, man.
Bring the family over. Come see Big Ben, all that sort of stuff.
That would be awesome. I'd love that.
Yeah, that's great. And once again, really appreciate you coming on. Can't wait for your next fight. And definitely everybody watch this space. TJ Tombstone Jones. He will be back. He'll be stronger. He's gonna get in there training. Really can't wait to see him, mate. Really, really look forward to it. And again, appreciate you coming on. And you've got a full house with all your family. You're trying to look after them. Chat to me. So I really appreciate it, man.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And anytime you want to chat, man, just hit me up, and I'll be happy to talk to you.
No, definitely want to keep in touch, keep track of your career as well, and see how it goes for you.
Sounds good, buddy.
Cool. Nice one, TJ. Speak to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.